Hello, it's great to be with you again. I've got my cup of tea here with me, and let's spend some time together. I've just come back from Glastonbury, from the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids big annual winter gathering in Glastonbury, and it was so wonderful and inspiring. I thought I'd share some of it with you and share it in a way. A few of you have said, wouldn't it be nice to extend the meditations we've been doing together? There's a special magic, I think, in somehow sitting together, knowing that we're part of a group all over the world, and that as we sit here in front of our computers in England or New Zealand or America, wherever we are somehow uniting at some subtle level together. And so let me tell you about what happened over the weekend, and you can just listen to it and hopefully enjoy it. But you might also like to use it as a kind of meditation, if you like. So the invitation would be for you to imagine that you're in Chalicewell Garden. You're walking into Chalicewell Garden. If you've been there before, you'll know how magical and wonderful it is. And it's the pre-dawn light. When we arrived on Saturday, the sky was pink, just at that moment of just before the dawn. And imagine that you're gathering with 100 or so people around the yew trees, these old yew trees that are in the lower slopes of Chalicewell Gardens. And it's there that yew roots have been found dating back to the times of the Druids, the Roman times. And Nguyen, the founder of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, but suggested that perhaps this was an example of a sacred passageway, sacred avenue going up to the tor of yew trees. And there between these two yews we gather. And in the ceremony, we ask, I'm going to read you a little bit from the ceremony, and you can get a feel for this. It's going to be hard for you in the southern hemisphere because, of course, you're going through the opposite process of moving towards the summer solstice. But up here in the frozen wastes of the north, we are going into towards the winter solstice. And so somebody said, we have crossed the threshold into winter. The light is failing and the dark gains in strength. The land lies icy and barren. It is long months until the return of the new green growth. Spring is but a promise held in seed and bulb and root. It is a dream nestled in our hearts, a distant hope in the darkness. To whom can we turn at this time of death and decay, when the darkness, the storms and feelings of desolation can so easily overwhelm us? Let us call to the spirits of the woods for their guidance and inspiration, to the evergreens, those who grow strongly even in the depths of winter. The evergreens whose green leaves speak to us of life even in the midst of death. Evergreen spirits, ye who are impervious to time and decay, we call to you. Evergreen spirits, ye who can withstand both heat and cold, we call to you. Evergreen spirits, ye whose leaves and branches remind us that the land will become green again, we call to you. Evergreen spirits, we welcome you to our circle. Speak now and give us your counsel. And so evergreen is brought into the circle, and somebody speaks for the spirits of the evergreens. I am the spirit of fir. I am elm. Mine are the tallest trees on the mountains. My boughs dispel negative energies, and smoke from my wood purifies and cleanses. I see to the farthest horizon, and then on through the veil into the other world. I bring you the gift of perception and spiritual vision. And so in this ceremony, we're calling in the spirits of the trees. It's just beautiful and completely in an alignment to what Druids are about, which is reverencing the world of the trees. May my presence, says the evergreen spirit, inspire you to use this period of rest and darkness to safely explore the deep wisdom that lies within you. And then the spirit of Holly is invited. I am the spirit of Holly. I am Chinna, great warrior and protector of the woods. I bring you warmth and good cheer in these cold months. I carry within me the potent energy of the sun. My wood burns fiercely hot and bright. My berries are drops of blood. They mark my sacrifice, my compassion and love for the land and all its beings. May my presence protect you during this period of cold and darkness and imbue you with the energy to act even in the bleakest times. And then comes the spirit of Ivy into the circle. I am Gort, intuitive lady of the woodland. I spiral ever upwards, flexible and tenacious. My white flowers grace the autumn and my fruit ripens through these fallow months. In order to truly flourish, I need the support of another tree, lightly embracing it, lest we both should fail. My constant circular growth echoes the search for spiritual understanding. May my presence not only strengthen your inner world during these dark months, but also encourage you to seek out and accept the support and companionship of others. And then another spirit comes into the circle. I am the spirit of mistletoe. I am the all-heal. I hang suspended between earth and sky, a bridge between both realms. My strong magic blends with that of my hosts to form a potent power. My berries are white as milk, symbols of fertility and growth. I bring healing and protection to body and spirit. May my presence bring you healing at this bleak time. May all the seeds you nurse through these dark months be blessed with good fortune and fertility. And so, having received the blessings of these spirits, we thank the directions for their blessings too. And then we finish with a poem, because one of the features of Druidry is its love of poetry, the whole bardic tradition that exists within Druidry. And so somebody steps forward and speaks this poem, Winter's Cloak, by Joyce Rupp and Macrina Wiedeker. This year, I do not want the dark to leave me. I need its wrap of silent stillness, its cloak of long-lasting embrace. Too much light has pulled me away from the chamber of gestation. Let the dawns come late, let the sunsets arrive early. Let the evenings extend themselves while I lean into the abyss of my being. Let me lie in the cave of my soul, for too much light blinds me, steals the source of my revelation. Let me seek solace in the empty places of winter's passage, those vast, dark nights that never fail to shelter me. And we allow that wonderful feeling of being cloaked in the darkness, and those seeds symbolized by those berries of mistletoe, seeds growing in the darkness. And we close the ceremony, the circle is closed. And then we gradually make a procession down, hugging and wishing each other a happy winter solstice to come. We slowly leave Chalice Well, perhaps going up to the wellhead and drinking the water of the well, and then walking through the garden and going back down into the town, which is just starting to wake up. And we walk past the old tithe barn and then down the street and round to the town hall. And imagine yourself now going into the town hall, and it's almost as if it's a medieval feasting hall with banners from the different groves around the world hanging on the walls. And 200 people are gathered here, your companions, familiar faces, new faces, who have all made this pilgrimage to Glastonbury, to this special place. And standing in the circle, I speak a blessing. I say, a blessing on this fine company, a blessing on our bards, sweet-tongued heads of fire with Arwen, a blessing on our ovates, their hearts open to the cry of the wind on the Tor, the deep pulse of the earth of Avalon, the flowing waters of the red and white springs. A blessing on our druids, bright as flames, solid as stone, joyful as the day is long. A blessing on all our lives and a blessing on the land. May our time together be fruitful. May newcomers to this winter gathering of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids feel as welcome here as do those who come here many times before. May our time together be filled with joy and inspiration, reverence and mirth, delight and celebration. And then Dave the Bard, the Pendragon of the Order, lifts up the Order's sword high up into the air. And he says, behold this sword Excalibur, raised from the lake of still meditation. Because of course Avalon is where Excalibur was found, where it was raised out of the lake. And so we're in the land of Excalibur, of the Grail. And then he points the sword above the heads of those directly facing him in the circle. And as he slowly moves the sword around in a circle, people start to join in chanting the Arwen, this wonderful word that means blessings of the gods or inspiration. Arwen, Arwen. And gradually the sound builds as the circle is cast until everybody, all 200 people, are chanting. And of course, many of us have our eyes closed. And then as we open our eyes, we see about 7 druids, all in their robes and regalia, walking into the room. And in the center of the room are piles and piles of mistletoe. You wouldn't believe how much mistletoe there is. And there are candles burning amongst the mistletoe too. And 2 men walk into the circle holding great mounds of mistletoe in their hands as well. And then half a dozen women, 4 or 5 women, come and stand facing different directions. And then one by one, the women turn out and speak the mistletoe prayer. And because every year people from many different countries come, I think the most number of countries have been 19. People from 19 countries have been present at one of these Glastonbury gatherings. This year there were 7 countries represented, and so they speak in their different languages. So we had Irish and Welsh and Italian and German and Dutch and French and English. And they speak this prayer in their language, which goes, mistletoe drawn from oak and apple, seed of rebirth and of new life, all healed of the ancients. May my own life be refreshed at its roots, reborn with every dawn. May all be healed, may all be blessed. And actually they use the wording, that's the individual prayer. They say, may our lives be refreshed at their roots, reborn with every dawn. May all be healed, may all be blessed. And then slowly, then I begin to speak a meditation, and I talk about how it is said that in the old days there were hermits living on 7 islands, and that we, seated in the town hall or on one of the islands, the Isle of Avalon, and then there were other islands, God's Island, Martin C. I'll see if I can find the list here. I've got them written down. Beckery, Mere, Panborough, and Nyland. And on each of these 7 islands, it is said that a Druid hermit lived. Later, it was a Christian priest, and a little chapel was built. And there they would chant and sing and pray. And it was John Michel, the author John Michel, who suggested that the configuration of these 7 islands conforms to the pattern of the great bear in the heavens. And so we can imagine now that we're seated on one of these islands, meditating, opening ourselves to the divine, and we can sense like stars in a night sky, these other islands around us, those other 6 islands with light emanating from them. And we look up into the sky and we see the great bear above us, the constellation of the bear. And we sense this mysterious connection between star and stone. And may the power of star and stone flow through us. And then slowly we allow our image of being seated on the island, the stars above us, the stars around us, and the other islands. Gradually, we allow them to fade, and slowly we become aware of ourselves seated here in the town hall in Glastonbury. And then we take another step in awareness, and we gradually open our eyes and allow us to become aware of being seated here